Okay, so you want to own a data center. Find a giant warehouse, fill it with computers, plug everything in, and watch the money roll in. Sounds simple, right? Except, here's the strange part. A modern data center is one of the most expensive businesses you can build, one of the fastest growing industries in the world, and one of the few businesses where demand can literally grow faster than companies can build the supply. Every second, billions of people are sending messages, watching videos, using artificial intelligence, storing photos, running businesses, and moving money online. But almost nobody thinks about where all of that information actually lives. The answer is simple. It lives inside massive buildings filled with thousands of machines that never sleep. And those buildings are called data centers. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how much it costs to build one, how data centers actually make money, why companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta are spending billions on them, and why owning a data center is not the guaranteed gold mine many people imagine. Because behind every AI chatbot, every streaming service, and every online transaction, there is a hidden economic machine running in the background. A data center. Think of a data center like a hotel, but instead of renting rooms to people, you rent space to computers. A normal hotel has rooms, electricity, water, security, and maintenance. A data center has server racks, electricity, cooling systems, security, and constant monitoring. The customers are not tourists. They are companies that need somewhere to store and process massive amounts of information. And the most valuable thing you are selling is not the building. It's reliability. Because if a hotel loses power for 10 minutes, customers get annoyed. If a data center loses power for 10 minutes, banks can stop processing payments, websites can disappear, and businesses can lose millions of dollars. That is why data centers are built like digital fortresses. But building one is incredibly expensive. A small data center might cost tens of millions of dollars. A large hyperscale facility used by companies like Google or Microsoft can cost hundreds of millions, or even billions. Why? Because the computers are only one part of the equation. The building itself needs specialized electrical systems, backup generators, cooling technology, security systems, fiber connections, and enough power infrastructure to support thousands of machines running 24 hours a day. The electricity alone can become one of the biggest costs. A typical data center can consume as much power as a small city. According to the International Energy Agency, data centers and data transmission networks together account for a significant share of global electricity demand, and that demand is expected to keep rising as artificial intelligence increases computing needs. And AI is changing everything. A traditional website might need a few servers. An AI model like those used for advanced machine learning requires thousands of specialized chips working together. That means companies suddenly need more computing space than ever before. But building the building is only the beginning. The real question is, how does a data center actually make money? There are several different business models. The first is colocation. This is where companies rent physical space inside your facility. Imagine you own an apartment building. Instead of renting apartments to families, you rent secure rooms where businesses place their own computers. A company might pay you thousands of dollars every month just to use a small amount of space, power, and network access. The second model is cloud infrastructure. This is what companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud dominate. Instead of renting a physical space, customers rent computing power. They pay for storage, processing power, and software services. It's like renting a car instead of buying one. You don't care about owning the engine. You just pay for using it. The third model is specialized computing. This is where things get interesting. Companies are now building data centers specifically for artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency mining, scientific research, and high-performance computing. These facilities can generate enormous revenue because advanced computing power has become one of the most valuable resources in the world. But let's look at the numbers. Imagine you build a medium-sized data center. Your total investment is $100 million. You spend $40 million on the building and land. $30 million goes into electrical systems and cooling. $20 million goes into networking and security. And another $10 million goes into everything else. Now your data center is ready. You fill it with customers renting server space. Maybe you have 1,000 server racks. Maybe you have 1,000 server racks. Each rack generates around $2,000 per month in revenue. That creates about $2 million per month, or roughly $24 million per year. Sounds amazing. But now, the costs arrive. Electricity might cost several $1 million annually. Maintenance teams need to operate 24/7. Equipment needs replacement. Security systems need upgrades. Insurance, taxes, networking costs, and financing expenses all reduce the profit. A data center can have impressive revenue, but still operate on surprisingly thin margins if it is poorly managed. This is where many investors misunderstand the business. They see billions flowing into the industry and assume every data center owner is becoming wealthy. But the economics are much more complicated. The biggest advantage belongs to companies that have scale. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google can build massive facilities, negotiate cheaper energy contracts, design their own hardware, and spread costs across millions of customers. A smaller operator does not have that advantage. It's like competing with a small grocery store against a global supermarket chain. You can still succeed, but your efficiency has to be exceptional. Location is another huge factor. A data center cannot just be built anywhere. You need cheap and reliable electricity. You need strong internet connections. You need political stability. You need access to water or alternative cooling solutions. And increasingly, you need access to renewable energy. This is why places like Northern Virginia became one of the biggest data center markets in the world. The region has become known as Data Center Alley because of its massive concentration of digital infrastructure. But even successful locations face problems. Power availability is becoming a major bottleneck. A company may have the money and the technology to build a new facility, but if the electrical grid cannot provide enough energy, construction can be delayed for years. And this creates one of the biggest opportunities in the industry. Demand is exploding. Supply is limited. That combination is what investors love. But there is another side of the story. A data center can fail even when the demand is guaranteed. Why? Because technology changes quickly. A facility designed around older hardware can become outdated. Energy costs can rise. A competitor can build a more efficient facility nearby. A customer can leave. And unlike software businesses, data centers require enormous upfront investment. You don't create a data center with a laptop and a few employees. You create it with concrete, steel, electricity, and hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a business where mistakes are extremely expensive. So what does the future look like? The answer is probably more data centers than ever before. Artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, cloud computing, digital payments, and online services are all increasing the world's demand for computing power. Some analysts expect global data center investment to continue reaching record levels as companies compete for AI infrastructure. The companies that control the best facilities, cheapest energy, and most advanced technology will have a major advantage. Because in the future, the most valuable real estate may not be office buildings or shopping malls. It may be buildings filled with computers. A data center is not just a warehouse. It is the engine room of the digital economy. Every search, every video, Every AI response and every online transaction depends on these invisible factories working behind the scenes. And the next time you open an app, stream a movie, or ask an AI assistant a question, remember something. You are not just using the internet. You are using a global network of machines that costs billions of dollars to build, millions of dollars to operate, and powers one of the biggest economic transformations in human history.